Fantastic. Thanks so much. I know you have a very prompt bedtime in about 84 minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
And you have to be back in LA for this, and I don't want to spike your or anyone else's cortisol. So we're going to close the night and keep it super light and just talk about sex and death and war and addiction and profit and everlasting life for the next 20 minutes. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay. First, I want to talk about how we first met. It was last fall at the end of a long Thanksgiving weekend, a lot of family time for me and screaming children. So on Sunday, as a reprieve, I tuned into X.com to watch Bryan Johnson trip balls on magic mushrooms on a live stream for 5.5 hours.
Yeah.
And while you were on another planet, you were joined by, among many others, your son, your father, Mark Benioff, Grimes, did a DJ set. What was the purpose of this experiment? What did you learn?
Yeah, first, my partner Kate Tolo's here. Hi, Kate. Kate was there helping me do the whole thing. When we started the project, we were asking this question: if you look at all the scientific evidence, what actually works to make someone more healthy? And if you go down the list, it's actually a pretty small number of things. Like you can do sauna, you can do exercise, you can eat well, you can sleep well. But like those things are known. Nowhere on that list was psychedelics. Like, you know, it's an ancient medicine, or it's been in a trial to treat MDMA or treat depression or anxiety, and there's different versions. But there was a study that came out in animal models that said psilocybin extends lifespan. And we said, maybe. And so we looked into it, and we saw there were some mechanisms that were interesting. We thought, what if we do an experiment where we test this molecule for longevity? So we did the world's most quantified psychedelic experiment to see, is this psychedelic a longevity therapy?
And what did you learn?
It is. Surprisingly, so it's actually, like, we've tested so many things. The performance of this molecule was incredibly impressive. What you want to find is, you want to find a therapy that when you do, it impacts the body. Like you don't want just like a narrow, you want like a broad band. And so it was really useful for the brain, the microbiome. There was a metabolic reset we found first in human observation of like blood glucose. So it really was like a systematic improvement.
Are we doing it wrong? Should there not have been a signature cocktail? Is it tonight?
Well, so like I think because then people take that. We did it like these were 25 milligram doses of psilocybin, and then people then assume that microdosing must, like if a lot is good, a little good must be good as well. But we haven't tested out microdosing. I think there's some evidence saying that microdosing may actually not be good. So TBD on that one. But so yes, so the answer is we should have served 25 milligram doses, and then we'd be having a fun time.
For the next, all right, excellent. For October, we'll get our mushrooms ready. Let's quickly move from one otherworldly.
If you guys did that,
Yep.
Count me in. You know?
Okay. October 7th.
I'm back. Well,
Jamie, Barbara, you heard that.
yeah.
All right, let's quickly move from one otherworldly experience to another. I want to talk about what no one in San Francisco is having, sex. Kate, your business partner, who's also your romantic partner, is here tonight. And you two are having a lot of sex, very publicly. Let's read from a sample tweet from one of yours recently. My lips press against hers, and I softly bite her lower lip. Kate's blood vessels dilate from the acetylcholine and nitric acid oxide release, flushing her lips, skin, and body. The cascade is nearing a waterfall. This is very 50 Shades of Grey meets Journal of Cell Biology.
Read more. Why stop? I'm into it.
First, why are you so public about your sex life? What's the message you want to convey with this?
Kate and I were talking to my son. He is 20 now. And we were talking about sex, and he had these questions. And I was like, I've never educated my son on sex. You know, like, we of course like have the basics covered, but his only source of education has been porn. And so we have this entire generation of people who have not been educated. How do you make love? And like, what does that happen? So for example, like this very simple thing, like when you're with your partner and you put your hand on their skin, if you move fast, the body processes that touch as like just a normal touch. If you move at a certain speed below, I think it's like something like, what is it, like 3 centimeters per second, like something very slow, very specific, the nerve fibers say, I feel intimate. And so it's like the speed of touch communicates to nerve fibers of, are we connected?
Are you calculating that speed when you're touching Kate?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, so Kate is very good. She is a scientific experiment. But like, if you do it, then inevitably you get goosebumps because the body registers it like, I'm now in an aroused state. And so what I wrote was basically an instruction manual on how to have sex. And so people, if they read it and they're like, this is like, 50 Shades of Grey, like longevity version. But if you actually decoded it, you'd be like, it's actually like 10 lessons I was trying to explain. Like, for example, women in their arousal period, it takes them like 15 minutes to tent. If a woman is not, for like 15 minutes of foreplay, then sex is painful for them. And so men, they get aroused within a minute or two. And so there's a disconnect. And so like basic stuff like that. So it was like trying to educate people on how do you create good relationships in a loving manner.
Makes good sense. It's not every day that a founder is public about their sex life. I know Mark Zuckerberg has posted a lot about smoking meats. I've not seen a post about him getting his meat smoked. What do your employees make of this?
My son is so cool. He just he belly laughs and he's yes and.
Your son and also your employees.
So yeah, we're very clear when people come to the office or come to work with us. We're like, look, we're pretty rowdy.
They know what they're getting into.
So if you like this environment, cool. This is the kind of environment. If you think it's fun, if not, then we're probably not the right fit for you. So we try to be extremely upfront with who we are and what we do.
Yeah, makes sense. We're in a city, as I said, known for its celibacy right now. The founders are going monk mode. No dating until Series B is a mantra among us.
Yeah.
Engineers have so much time to build and so little time to bone. Are they missing out? What is your advice to those in tech who'd say a sex life is a distraction?
Yeah, I mean, we all know this intuitively that a well-maintained car drives better than a poorly maintained car. That a well-rested child performs better than a poorly rested child. Basically, whether it's a mechanical object, a physical object, or a biological object, those things run better when they're healthy. No one wants to write a shitty code base. You want healthy code. And so what founders don't realize is when you're not taking care of your health, you are shitty code. You are not beautiful code. And so sometimes it takes a bit for them to realize that. But a good partnership is really beneficial for mental health and physical health. And really for most founders have mental health issues. Most people in this room have mental health issues. Can we be honest? And it's true. And we don't talk about it, but a substantial portion of American citizens have mental health issues. So I get that it's a clean prescription of but really I think we have not created a culture of health, and it's hurting everybody.
Yep, that's fair. All right, one more quick question about sex. We're going there, so we'll go there. You measure your nocturnal erections. You average about 3 hours a night.
Yeah.
Is it
more.
Any different? It's more. Okay.
Yeah.
More than your son's. More than your.
Well, actually, he beat me by 2 minutes. Yeah. Very, very discouraging. Yeah.
Do post-coital, are those numbers lower?
Yeah. Actually, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's quickly move on. Let's keep addressing the audience.
On the nighttime erection stuff, this is men. When you don't have nighttime erections, you're 72% more likely to have a cardiac event. It predicts. So the reason why that predicts. Yeah, there we go. I never caught that before, but it does. But the reason why is because it's blood flow, and so you look at the capillary size. The penis is the smallest. On the capillary size, you go to the heart and the brain. So it makes sense. It would first show up, and so women too have nighttime erections. They don't, you probably don't realize this, but it's not a sexual thing. It's a natural thing the body does. It's the body using it as keeping it alive. And so women's clitoris engorges, and they wake up with a morning bean. Men have a morning wood. But it's the same process in men and women every night. And so if that function is not going well, it is an indicator of cardiovascular, physiological, and psychological problems.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we're learning so much so quickly. You've been very open about how when you were building Braintree, that is part of what set you on this longevity journey. When going in founder mode and working endless hours, you broke down your body and your mental health. You're eating poorly. For the people in the audience who are building right now, who don't have the freedom of time that you have after your exit, to have it in a really extensive morning routine, who can't go to bed at 8:30, like how do you optimize while working endless hours?
You're basically screwed. I mean, that's why I focused on the core things, right? Like the answer is not go do a hyperbaric oxygen therapy and then sauna and then like do Pilates and plus swimming. It's like turn your screen off, stop eating food, talk to your stress, turn the lights down, right? Like really basic stuff. And it's really more about control. I think the problem a lot of us feel is we feel out of control because every moment, like society is trying to get you addicted to eat their food, to scroll in their algorithms. So like everyone wants your time, attention, and your life. And so this is really about, I'm gonna take control. I'm gonna set a bedtime, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna turn off my fucking phone, right? Like, I'm serious, like it's like we're being crushed. And so really it's not really about the longevity stuff. It's just like, I am an autonomous and sovereign person, and I am not gonna be run over by the world. And that's like the thing I think that is the most powerful for us is like we have all been run over, and it's just really bad for all of our mental health.
Makes sense. Longevity science is evolving. You're targeting 2039 as the year we arrest aging. And you'd say for a second what that means.
Yeah, I mean, by 2039, we think that 1 year of time will pass and you will stay the same age. So that means your body will never beat entropy. Like the body is always gonna age, but the key is you wanna slow your aging rate down, and then you wanna repair what did age. And so by 2039, we'll be able to slow our bodies down to a certain degree, let's just say by 50% with therapies, and then we'll have age-reversing therapies to get the other back. So time will pass, and you will stay the same age.
Makes sense. That's happening on that timeline. At the same time, there's this rising concern that AI is upending the job market. It's going to displace a world historic amount of workers, radically accelerate income inequality. There's a sense in Silicon Valley, you have 2 to 5 years to escape the permanent underclass, however real that may be. The pursuit of longevity often requires time and money. Immortals, your new startup, is $1 million a year per person. Mm-hmm. Are we headed, is there a risk that we're headed to a society where there are masses of sick, poorer people and immortal, more or less immortal rich people? How do we avoid that?
Yeah, we in conjunction with this, what we're doing is we just published a manifesto called Immortalism, and it's about this time and place where what we're saying is right now our objective for society is you acquire wealth, power, and status, and you will do that at any cost. Even if it costs you your life, you'll do it to martyr yourself for that objective. And what we're proposing is that as a species, our best interest is in optimizing for existence. Mm-hmm. That above all things, we are just thrilled that we're alive on this earth and this part of the galaxy. And there's nothing that would warrant us compromising that preciousness. And so it's a big shift, but also like if you want to predict what size of revolutionary ideology is coming, you only need to measure the size of the technological disruption. Because the technology disruption comes, it punches a bunch of holes in the world, and they need to be patched up. And so when you look out in the world and you say, right now, you say, what ideology, what philosophy, like what framework is going to be strong enough to patch the world of the wounds that are coming our way? There's nothing. There's nothing strong enough that is practically applicable. So we're trying to build immortalism because we think there's a new ideology is needed for this moment to answer that question. It just reframes like what are we as a species and how does society work?
Makes sense. I want to get to 2 more and leave some time for questions. You said existence needs to be society's highest priority. You say that defeating death will be humanity's greatest achievement. What do you make of Silicon Valley's growing embrace of defense tech and war and investing in technology that is both branded as and built to be maximally lethal. And some of your investors, John Lonsdale, Logan Paul, are invested in defense tech. What do you make of?
Yeah, I mean, humans are a violent species. We always have been. We still are. I don't imagine that we're just gonna like snap and we're not violent anymore. So I would imagine that the existing tensions in the world that keep things somewhat stable will carry on. And so it's just a natural, like, strategy for people to maintain security. And so I would imagine we'll evolve somewhat, but like right now it's just part of the game. It's game theory.
Yeah. You talk about all the ways one should optimize their biomarkers. You tweeted yesterday that we all need to stop drinking. And again, I think maybe the long play as the signature cocktail is that self-defeating.
Yeah.
You say drinking increases your cortisol, it elevates your heart rate, it shrinks your hippocampus. Critics have pointed out that there are plenty of things in life that increase biomarker distress that make life worth living. My daughters are 5 and 2. They're shrinking my hippocampus every day.
Yeah.
And yet my life is more meaningful and full of purpose and love and awe because of them. It's a gift that they're breaking my brain. You have children too. What's your calculus for you, for us all, for optimizing for biomarkers and optimizing for richness of life?
Yeah, I think that the idea, for example, that alcohol is a relaxant that makes your life better is a myth. I think having children is a positive, right? So some things we say are true, some things we say are rationalizations. And a lot of what people say that I want to stay up late and do this and that, like it's rarely a virtue, you know, like we all know this intuitively. Like rarely do you eat an entire pizza and you're like, God damn, I feel great about myself. You know? Like, you know, like I'm living life. Like it's so much of it is like we just built into our rationalization that we can't control ourselves. But so I think just being honest about what we're saying.
Thank you so much. We have a quick minute for a couple questions in the audience. You jumped out first.
Testing. Okay. Hey, Bryan. I was at Don't Die last year at New York. Great to see you. You have recently done 5-MeO DMT. My question is, has your definition of longevity changed because of DMT?
It was the most profound experience of my life without question. And the omnipresent thing I just cannot shake is we humans cannot understand the preciousness of existence. We just can't compute. We can't understand. If we try, you can't understand it. And only in that state did I feel like I really understood how insanely amazing and precious this moment is we have. So that just like, I cannot state with words. Yep.
Go. Yeah.
Bryan, thanks. Anthony DeMaio, Business Insider. Thanks for being here. 2 questions. We often talk about how movement is medicine. Do you agree, disagree? And second, can you talk to us a little about your diet?
Yeah. So 10 squats every 40 minutes is one of the very best things anybody can do for your health. So just throughout the day, like if you're stationary at a desk, just stand up, do 10 air squats. That is, if you do it throughout the day, that is equal to a 30-minute walk. So it's really efficacious. The muscles suck up the blood glucose. So it's a really easy way to be healthy, get your body in a good spot. And then for the diet, yeah, we have this philosophy that every calorie fights for its life. So in our world, we measure every air molecule, every water molecule, every food molecule. Like we are meticulous. Like right now, I'm out in the world, and this is like terrifying. But you know, like, no, for sure in this room, there's toxins and like all kinds of stuff. But like we are extremely meticulous. We're trying to basically follow like, if you say what makes a human die, our list is like 250 things long. And then we say what makes a human live. And so we really have gone to the edge of the earth and like, how do you quantify life and death? It's like such a fun science experiment.
Deep in the back.
I'll meet you halfway. Hi, Bryan. Thanks so much. Lydia from Invisible Technologies, and I'm a statistician by trade. So When I hear you saying you've run thousands of experiments on yourself, I think that's amazing. But I'm curious about the results of those experiments, how you think they should be interpreted and distributed, and how do you ensure construct validity when you have an inherent sample size of one and then the time frame that those experiments have been run in inherently have a multivariate vibe to them?
Yep, exactly. And so it's even more complicated than what you said. I built an AI model myself, and we're probably approximating like 1 billion data points over the past 5 years. So it's the most quantified human data set in history. And so obviously with that, you've got very noisy data, but also it's interesting you can distill some pretty large trends. And so I think the value of this experiment is even if you were to say that nothing that I've done has any scientific value, the mimetic and cultural value is worth the project, right? The fact that I can be in this room and say, go to bed on time, right? Like if that's the contribution or something else. But we also, like, for example, in the psychedelic experiment, we found several first-in-human observations. Now, will they stay in long-term studies? TBD. Will researchers now pursue it? Yes. Have people written, to the government, say, asking for money for the experiments? Yes. So, like, there's a ton of spawning of what we do, where people see the experiment, they say, interesting, should we test this ourselves? So, I've been very surprised at how efficacious n = 1 has been to, like, enliven the world to say, should we do blank?
I know you have 65 minutes until bedtime, so we'll do one more question. You.
Hey, Brian, Elliot, co-founder of Ghost Team here. We are all going to be living longer, and that might have implications. What do you think are going to be some of the biggest impacts of the fact that we are all going to be on this planet longer, more people on the planet, and yeah, what happens then?
If you read history, humans have never been good at predicting the future. In fact, they've been awful. And so I think that right now, like if in the 1400s, you could say, I'm a farmer, and my child is likely to be a farmer, and their child is likely to be a farmer. Right? You could probably model the world out in a few generations. In this moment, our ability to model the world in a year from now is almost absent. So our ability to predict through these rough heuristics is now creating a situation where our ability to predict the future is 0. And not only 0, our intuitions are working against us because there's this new emergent technology. So my personal opinion is nobody has anything intelligent to say about the future. Nobody. Like, in fact, when they try to say things, they're revealing their ignorance, not their knowledge. It's very counterintuitive. You cannot say intelligent things outside of basic things like it's likely the sun's going to continue around the Earth around the sun. Sure, but like as to human affairs and emergent properties, I think it's 0.
And if you have to make the bet?
Oh, everything I have, I put the bet on. Like it's just like it's a random sort. Like there's just no way. The best futurist in the world has been Ray Kurzweil. When he got that exponential curve, he is the best futurist that humanity's ever produced. And that was like a stunning observation, like in the late 80s. Outside of him, I don't think anyone has anything interesting to say about the future.
Thank you, Bryan Johnson. Thank you, everyone. And